Hello everybody, it's your boy Skipx here with another video for you guys here today, and what we're going to be talking about are the top 10 RPGs that I want to see at E3 2019. With that being said, these games will be ranked by a combination of how likely we are to see these games at E3, the information that we already have of these titles, and my personal anticipation for each single game. So for example, a game with no signs of it appearing at E3 with the addition of very little info and my personal anticipation being high will give that game a higher placement on this list because it will be more unexpected for that game to appear. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. Number 10, Final Fantasy VII Remake. As we all know, a couple of weeks ago we got the new State of Play trailer, which was the first trailer that we got in over 2 years. It's been a very long time since we got any information on Final Fantasy VII Remake, let alone a trailer. So that being said, that was a very nice treat for us. And as all of the signs are pointing to with Square Enix's recent financial report and just interviews and rumors going around that there is even a demo of Final Fantasy VII Remake going around to certain members of the media and other game developers in the industry, all signs are pointing to Final Fantasy VII Remake having a very big presence at E3 2019 during Square Enix's press conference, which they do every year at E3. Let's move on into number 9, Cyberpunk 2077, CD Projekt Red's next project after the amazing Witcher 3, which released back in 2015 if I'm correct. Obviously, a lot of people will equate this game to be in cyberpunk or futuristic Skyrim, which is not too far off in how it looks, but I guarantee with how intricate of a world Witcher 3 was, I can only imagine what the CD Projekt Red devs are going to do with Cyberpunk 2077. From that gameplay trailer that they gave us last year, I'm pretty sure we're at least going to get a little bit of something this year, whether it's some news, a new short trailer, or even a release window or a release date, because they did say in their E3 trailer that the game is going to take its sweet time and is going to come out whenever it is ready. But seeing as how much work has already been done on the game and how good the game looks, I couldn't imagine there being too much more to do with the game, but I could be wrong. So that being said, I can't wait to see Cyberpunk 2077, and let's move on into number 8, the Kingdom Hearts DLC package. As I've covered on this channel, the Cage 3 DLC package is tentatively named Remind, but that is just a placeholder title and it could be changed by the time it releases, which it most likely will, because as I've broken down on a video on my channel, that the Kingdom Hearts DLC package, from what it was described, is basically the final mix version of the game. A lot of Kingdom Hearts fans have also theorized this as well, that final mix wasn't going to be a full re-release and that it was just going to simply be a DLC package that you could buy for like $15 to $20 to add that extra content, seeing as this is the first mainline numbered Kingdom Hearts game that has released on a console in 2 generations. So it would make sense for them to take advantage of the DLC capabilities of future consoles. There's really not too much to say here, it's just very likely for it to be at E3, seeing as we have had multiple interviews talking about it and it was recently announced back at like one of the Cage Orchestra shows in Japan. So I'm pretty sure it's going to have a presence at E3, seeing as Kingdom Hearts is one of Square Enix's bigger franchises. Moving on into number 7 though, The Elder Scrolls 6. And yes, I know Bethesda is in a really bad place reputation wise with Fallout 76, but with that being said, I think this will make them work all the more harder on Elder Scrolls 6, seeing as number 1, they want to kind of wipe that bad reputation out of the way, because Fallout 76 was pretty much a legitimate shit show, and I can't believe that they want to go into the future with that hanging over their heads. And 2, Skyrim is one of the biggest media properties, period. We're talking about movies, TV shows, cartoons, whatever. It is legitimately one of the biggest media properties to have, just because of how many times it has sold on many different platforms. Just like Todd Howard has said, if you keep buying the game, we're going to keep remaking it and putting it on different systems. So if you don't want us to keep remaking it, don't keep buying it. That's really just that simple, but it's just that good that people cannot help it. I know personally, when I get a Switch, I probably will rebuy Skyrim too, just to be honest with you. So with that being said, I hope they really do take the time to make Elder Scrolls 6 something just as memorable as Skyrim, as hard as that is to say, because Skyrim was a special game. I think that they can do it, and they definitely have the motivation to, seeing as how they have kind of burned some of their goodwill with the launch and the handling of Fallout 76. Let's move on into Granblue Fantasy Relink. Yes, the developer side games, the people who made Granblue Fantasy, which is a gacha mobile game, has become extremely popular not only in Japan and in the East, but also over here in the West, even coming to the point where it looks like we're going to be getting an official English release of Granblue Fantasy. Even though the Japanese version does have a fully English translated version, I think they're finally going to legitimately bring it to the West with maybe more accurate translations and probably special things for us US players, hopefully, and just to get a lot more Western people into the game, and I can't wait to see stuff like that. But with that being said, Side Games has another game on the horizon called Granblue Fantasy Versus, which is a fighting game developed by Arc Systems, and as I just stated, it looks like they're going to be bringing the main game to the West. It looks like they're probably going to want to bring in their other game, Granblue Fantasy Relink, which looks like to me maybe a retelling of the mobile game up until a certain point, but with more traditional RPG elements and third-person gameplay. It looks like it plays somewhat as a cross in between a Tales of game and maybe even a full-on action RPG, but it's hard to say because we don't know really too many of the game mechanics at this point. But I will admit that the game looks beautiful and I can't wait to play it, and I hope it has some type of multiplayer aspect to play with strangers and some of your friends alike and do like special hardcore missions. I would love to see something like that. So going into number 5, I want to see a new Drakengard or Nier game, or at least some type of news hinting towards them starting development. As I've talked about on this channel a lot, you guys, I am a big fan of the Drakengard and Nier series. I've been a fan since I was 9 years old, and to all future parents out there, I recommend don't let your 9-year-old kid play Drakengard 1. But with that being said, I know Shinji Hashimoto has said that they want to make Nier a key franchise. I don't know if that necessarily includes Drakengard, but I hope that does. And as I made a video maybe even over a year ago, that maybe when Platinum is done with all of their other projects, they could take the scrapped ideas from Scalebound and kind of configure that into a Drakengard 4 game. I think that would be absolutely amazing and kind of a turnaround, because it would do two things. It would bring in all the people who were maybe excited about Scalebound, and then 2, it would bring a new Drakengard entry, and that's already 2 built-in fan bases that you could draw on to say that this game can be made and it will sell a certain amount. So hopefully we will see that at E3 this year, or at least just some type of mention that it is on the way. Next, number 4, Shin Megami Tensei 5. This was the original flagship RPG of Atlus until I truly believe Persona has now taken it over in popularity, and I believe Persona is the flagship franchise. But either way, this is the one that started it all for Atlus in my personal opinion, and Shin Megami Tensei 5 was announced back at the Switch's launch event all the way back in I believe 2017. So it's been a while, and since then we have only got the initial announcement trailer and one other trailer showing off presumably our main 2 characters, and that has literally been it. We have not gotten any other information about the development process, where they are in the process, what are they doing, or anything of that nature. So at this point, is this a toss-up as to when Shin Megami Tensei 5 is going to come out? We know Atlus is working on Persona 5 The Royale and another game that's going to appear later on this list, but they have been very relatively quiet with Shin Megami Tensei 5, and I'm getting kind of worried about the development cycle of that game. I really hope there aren't any issues going on with it, and I would at least like them to give us a little bit of a statement, at least just saying things are not moving as smoothly as possible, but we are making progress, and then I would be pretty happy with that, and maybe even release another trailer, maybe going over some of the villains or antagonists that we may come across in this game. Moving from that point, number 3, the Dragon Ball Action RPG. This was a trailer that released earlier this year, I believe back in January, out of the blue, just saying that they're working on an action RPG for Dragon Ball. It seems to have open world elements because we have only seen a few clips of the game, which are cutscenes, which the art style looks amazing by the way, and a couple of scenes of Goku walking around by Capsule Corp at Master Roshi's house, and it looked like the area around his house. So I don't exactly know when they're going to be announcing this. Personally, I do think there's a better chance of it appearing at TGS, but you can never count out Namco Bandai because Code Vein is coming out, and they do have a couple of other smaller titles coming coming up that they probably want to promote during E3 time as well. So I could see them saying Dragon Ball ARPG coming out 2020 and give us like this big giant gameplay trailer. Hopefully. I'm hoping for something similar to maybe Legend of Goku 2, but basically bringing it onto a much bigger scale, but we will just have to wait and see. Number 2, the next Tales game, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Tales of Vesperia HD released earlier this year, but that is a remaster. It was a game that was already there, and if people wanted to play that game before, they could have just as easily played it on the PS3 or Xbox 360, even though I do truly understand that there was a bunch of additional content added to this version that we got on the PS4 and the Xbox One and PC. I am ready for the like completely brand new game, and I really hope that they go with a new setting, because as I've mentioned this to my friends before, I am tired of the normal medieval setting, because we have had that for the last 3 games, which is Tales of Zestria, Tales of Berseria, and just recently with Tales of Vesperia, we've kind of gotten this traditional fantasy type of world. So I would really love for them to go with something brand new, maybe a more modern, maybe a more futuristic type of world as well, where maybe technology is how you use arts and things of that nature. I don't exactly know, but I am really getting tired of the traditional fantasy world, seeing as we have had that for 3 games in a row at this point. So I really hope that there's going to be something very unique for the Tales series and takes it in a direction that we have never seen before, possibly allowing us to use all 6 characters in battle. I'm just saying, we're kind of reaching this point in technology where I kind of don't see how it isn't a thing yet when it comes to certain RPGs, when you can't just scale the battles to having like 6 of your party members. We're kind of at that point, and I would love to see something like that. And 2, let's hope for a new engine, which is why I really think that this game is taking so long, is because I think they've kind of come to realize after seeing Berseria and how much people love that game, but a lot of people were criticizing them for saying like this game looks kind of dated in some aspects, like you really can't make this engine look any better than it does already, so you need to move on. So hopefully we get a brand new engine, a brand new setting unique to the Tales of series, and hopefully it is another great game filled with characters that we will come to love for years forward. And last but not least, number 1, Project Re Fantasy. This is being made by Studio Zero, which is a branch of Atlas, and the head of this studio is Hoshino. Hoshino is the guy who has directed Persona 3, Persona 4, and the recent Persona 5. So I'm pretty sure you all understand by me saying that the guy knows what he's doing when he makes a JRPG, and we don't know anything about this game. We've had some very weird trailers and some that are just outright confusing, and from what we can see in the trailers, there's going to be a modern but also medieval aspect to the game, and from what I am theorizing, is going to be a game that takes place in medieval time that will show parallels as to how medieval society maybe reflects today's society as well, and how we really haven't evolved in how we interact and how the world actually works in the first place. That's what I'm guessing, but at this point we don't honestly know. And with Persona 5 getting the Royale Edition, I believe in late 2019 or early 2020, Atlas needs something to present to people. I know Catherine Full Body is coming out, but that's not a AAA title, and that's more of a niche thing. Even though I'm going to buy that game, I know that's not something that's super popular within gaming culture. So hopefully we can see something from Project Re Fantasy, because this is a project that has been announced for years and we literally have gotten absolutely nothing about it, except for a few words here and there saying, oh, development is moving, we're doing great things here and there, and it's not canceled. That's literally all we have gotten over the years. In the year 2019, I would just like a trailer, a gameplay trailer, maybe even a CGI trailer. As much as I hate CGI trailers and I don't like them, I would settle for that just to see something of this game, because this is literally the one RPG in existence that I am the most excited for. So with that being said, these are the 10 RPGs I would like to see at E3 2019. They don't necessarily have to be there in presence, like their company doesn't have to physically be there at E3. Maybe they just drop a trailer during this time. Maybe they just get an interview in during the time of E3, and we'll get some type of information in these next couple of days. But with that being said, if you enjoyed, leave a like on it, subscribe as well, and turn on notifications because YouTube is stupid, and I will see all of you guys in the next one.